at auction. Titled Christ Mocked, the painting measures about 10 inches by 8 inches. Art experts say it's likely part of a larger diptych that Cimabue painted around 1280. Two other panels are displayed at the Frick Collection in New York and the National Gallery in London. The painting will go on sale October 21st at an auction house north of Paris.
Can you imagine? Because I would look at that and think, oh,
this whole
grandma
thing
just never, threw something away.
Dirty,
but
dusty.
Holy smokes.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Well, have a wonderful wedding and honeymoon.
So much.
Thanks for helping out the last week and a half.
Happy to do it.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, sounds good.
News 3 at 5 starts right now. Thanks for watching.
Right now at 5, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced the House of Representatives is moving forward with an impeachment inquiry on President Trump.
Plus, new federal money could give election officials here in Wisconsin a chance to keep your ballot more secure.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced the House is moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry of President Donald Trump.
Speaker Pelosi made that announcement just about an hour ago from the Speaker's office at the Capitol. Calling for an impeachment inquiry has intensified following reports the president may have sought a foreign government's help in his re-election bid. President Trump insists he did nothing wrong when he called the leader of Ukraine and said he will release a transcript of that phone call. The Speaker, though, says the president, quote, must be held accountable.
The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
When you see the call, when you see the readout of the call, which I assume you'll see at some point, you'll understand. That call was perfect. It couldn't have been nicer. I think it's ridiculous. It's a witch hunt. I'm leading in the polls. They have no idea how they stop me. The only way they can try is through impeachment.
Wisconsin lawmakers in both political parties are also reacting to this impeachment news.
In this case, he's skipping the middleman. He's just coming out and saying, yeah, I did it, and yeah, my office held up the money, and let me save you any more time, and let's get to it. Let's dance. So I think everyone's like, all right, fine. You know, like it has solved much of what we were trying to get done through the other process, and he wouldn't let witnesses come. Now
he's become his own witness.
Yeah, you can't be any more overt than he's being.
So I look forward to reading those transcripts, and I don't think he'd be so forthcoming with those transcripts and the statements that he has made if he thinks there is a smoking gun. So I look forward to this conversation. I think that there will be a lot there that proves that this is a continued witch hunt and that this is more politically motivated than it is about the rule of law.
Governor Tony Evers is not taking a position on whether President Trump should be impeached because, in his words, quote, I don't make any decisions on impeachment. The governor says he is concerned about things that, quote, kind of take us off the rail as far as moving forward. He says, quote, we have to find a way to move forward as a nation, and so hopefully there will be some resolution soon.
There'll be a new opportunity for small rural communities in Wisconsin to make their elections more secure as we approach the 2020 races.
A state agency is offering federal grant money so clerks can make sure they are less vulnerable to cyber attacks. Rose Schmidt is here to explain how. Rose?
Since the 2016 election, the Wisconsin Elections Commission has been focused on improving election security across the state, and the upcoming 2020 election only increases that need. The chair says today it only takes one town getting hacked to make the entire system vulnerable. As we get closer to an election year,
I'm here as a voter.
There's a heightened awareness from those participating to make sure election processes are secure. At a Wisconsin Elections Commission meeting Tuesday, voters called for more audits of voting machines.
We got to make sure that they're working correctly.
And closer looks at the influence of outside hackers on election systems. After Wisconsin was one of more than 20 states federal authorities say Russian hackers tried to target during the 2016 election cycle.
Time to really be on top of this cybersecurity stuff.
Something some clerks and election officials around Wisconsin will now have the chance to do.
One of my very first meetings here, we talked about multi-factor authentication, and I said, boy, that's a no-brainer. And I was told, you don't realize how low-tech some of our 1,800 and some municipalities are.
The board's chair is hoping to address that concern in the form of a $1.1 million federal grant program. The Elections Commission unanimously decided that local towns can apply for up to $1,200 to make election security upgrades for things like new computers or operating systems.
It is our strength in Wisconsin that we have a very distributed election management system, and most of the time that makes us resistant to attack. But it's also always the case that you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Rural communities with the greatest need will get priority, but the grant money will first go to clerks in the 7th Congressional District, as a primary and special election are scheduled to replace Congressman Sean Duffy from Wausau.
We want to make sure that if we're having an election on the 30th of December, that we're not allowing access to our system.
Some local clerks tell me they are still learning about the grant program because it was just approved today, but the townships of Dunn and Dane say they're interested in applying if they meet the criteria. Larger governments like Madison and Cottage Grove say they likely won't have a need for this grant money because they already meet the security requirements under this.
Yeah, already thinking about next year's elections.
2020 coming up soon.
Yeah, it's going to be here in no time. Thank you, Rose.
Thanks, Rose. Today is National Voter Registration Day. Hundreds of volunteers are running 30 pop-up registration locations across Madison today. Now, you need to register to vote if your address has changed since the last time you voted. You'll need to bring proof of residence, like a utility bill from the last 90 days. While Wisconsin's next election day isn't until February of 2020, officials expect voter registration stations to be busy today.
The trends we've seen the past few years is that every single election we seem to be setting a record for voter turnout, and we haven't seen any reason to think that that trend won't continue.
You can register to vote online at myvote.wi.gov if you have a Wisconsin driver's license or ID and the address is current. You can find pop-up registration locations at channel3000.com. All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the weather patio. Beautiful Tuesday, Gary. A little breezy, but nice.
Yeah, it's been great so far. Temperature's actually a little warmer than forecast. However, there are some thunderstorms that are starting to develop out to the west of us. You can see this, a visible cloud track across western Iowa. Things have been pretty quiet, and then those storms have started to develop near Omaha, Nebraska. The Storm Prediction Center has a risk of severe thunderstorms to our north and west, marginal risk north and west of Madison, and a slight risk for our far northwestern viewers. And already a tornado watch has been issued until midnight for parts of Minnesota, west central Wisconsin, and western Iowa. Those storms probably won't reach us until late tonight, though, and they should be weakening. Temperatures are still pretty warm, upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Dew point temperatures right now still in the low 50s here, but notice they climb into the 60s out to the west of us. So expect a period of thunderstorms tonight, and then look for partly sunny day tomorrow. It'll be breezy and cooler with a high of 72. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. We now know the name of the man authorities found murdered in rural Sauk County over the weekend. The sheriff's office says 37-year-old Christopher Lytle of Westfield was found dead in an isolated area in the town of Fairfield off Levy Road on Sunday. The coroner officially ruled the death a homicide, but authorities haven't gone into any more detail about cause of death here. Investigators say the victim was targeted. They say there's no danger to the public. They're asking people nearby to search their trail cameras or home surveillance systems for any additional information.
The Madison Fire Department says the fire last week at a far west side restaurant caused approximately $2.8 million worth of damage. This happened early Wednesday morning at Cowboy Jack's on John Q. Hammonds Drive. That's the building that used to house Spreckers. Now, fire officials say there was no automatic sprinkler system installed in the building at the time of the fire. No one was injured. Firefighters say they're still investigating the cause.
Jefferson police are searching for a man after several reported incidents of him following women around in a Walmart and asking to take their pictures for a modeling job. Authorities say they're looking for help identifying the suspect in that image. According to a Facebook post, officers are asking anyone with information to contact that number on your screen. It's area code 920-674-7707 with tips. Police say the investigation is ongoing.
Tonight, the city of Madison will discuss taking away the liquor license for Visions nightclub.
Amy Reed joins us now from outside the Alcohol License Review Committee with information on what's to come tonight. Amy?
Even though this has been discussed for a few months, tonight is really day one of the official proceedings looking at Vision's liquor license. In what the city calls a quasi-judicial process, tonight both Visions and the city will bring forward witnesses and go over their cases as to whether Vision should be allowed to continue serving alcohol and hosting adult entertainment. An attorney with the city filed a 56-page complaint against the nightclub. That was in early August. It says Visions has been a problem for neighbors and the neighborhood, but there's mixed opinion on that. We spoke with one man who lives near Visions, and he said the problems come from the new gas station and bad influences that live near there.
Then you can see in the parking lot, Visions is a clean area, but if you walk around the corner, you can see all the garbage that comes from Quick Trip. So you can look at the Quick Trip garbage cans overflowing every night long. You can look at the stop sign and sit there all night long watching people just go through the stop signs, loud exhaust, no windshields, and just throw their garbage out like they don't care. And that's all the people that live behind here in the apartments back there.
However, the complaint does allege other wrongdoings on Vision's behalf, including buying alcohol at a local retailer and refilling the bottles at the bar with that. It also said there were zoning violations with the building itself. It's hard to say how long this process will take, but it's highly possible that tonight is just the first of many meetings in which the city and Visions will decide if Visions will be allowed to continue operating as it is.
All right, we'll see where this goes tonight. Amy Reed live downtown. Amy, thank you.
Governor Tony Evers says he will push the Republican-controlled legislature to pass gun control measures and legalize medical marijuana during its fall session. The governor and Democrats have introduced a bill requiring universal background checks for gun purchases, as well as a red flag law, as it's known, to allow judges to take firearms away from people determined to be at a risk. Now, Republicans opposed both measures. Also, a bipartisan group of lawmakers did introduce a medical marijuana bill last week. Speaker Robin Vos has been open to the idea, but Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald has been more firmly opposed.
Leaders of the Ho-Chunk Nation say a potential Rock County casino is still in the works despite some delays.
Today, they're clearing up some rumors that a new casino across the state line is causing delays. Rock County reporter Adam Duxer joins us from the Bureau at the Janesville Gazette with their explanation. Adam?
Well, Eric and Danica, leaders with the Ho-Chunk Nation were hopeful that at this point this year they'd already be breaking ground on a new casino in the city of Beloit. However, they say their proposal is still awaiting approval from the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Now, in months past, leaders have said the proposed casino could bring 1,500 jobs to the area, but Public Relations Officer Ryan Greendeer says the Bureau of Indian Affairs is going through their application thoroughly, and that's what's causing the delays. Today, Governor Tony Evers chimed in on the situation.
We are kind of waiting for some final decisions from the federal government, but clearly competition makes a difference, but I'm not sure it does in this particular case.
Greendeer says he's hopeful, even with the delays, that they can see this happen by the end of the calendar year. Although he says, just like before, that is subject to change.
Always a process, seemingly. Adam Duxer reporting for us. Thank you, Adam.
Country superstar Kenny Chesney coming back to Wisconsin. He will play Miller Park April 25th in the springtime. It's part of his Chillaxification tour. Always wanted to say Chillaxification.
I thought so.
That's his tour in 2020. The show will open with performances by Florida Georgia Line, Old Dominion, and Michael Franti and Spearhead. Chesney, one of the most decorated country artists of all time, played Miller Park 3 previous times in 2013, 2016, and 2018. He also played Kohl Center a few times. Pre-sale tickets, the VIP packages, go on sale Thursday, 10 a.m. for select groups. General ticket sales will start on October 4th. There's more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, the nationwide outbreak of vaping illnesses now under the microscope in Congress. We'll have the very latest from Capitol Hill.
Plus, coming up tonight at 6, after being beaten up by a group of people on State Street, a Madison man says city officials aren't doing enough to address ongoing problems there.
And red numbers on Wall Street in Tuesday trading. The Dow loses 142 points. The NASDAQ off 119. S&P falls 25. We'll be right back. President Trump addressed the United Nations today, again delivering a searing critique of globalism to the global organization. President Trump used his third appearance before the UN General Assembly to defend his America First approach to foreign policy. The president said liberal trade agreements have been exploited by China and others. He took aim at Iran, accusing it of sponsoring terrorism and fueling wars in Syria and Yemen, but stopped short of threatening any military action. That matched another theme of his speech, the president's goal to rein in U.S. military intervention around the world.
The United States does not seek conflict with any other nation. We desire peace, cooperation, and mutual gain with all. But I will never fail to defend America's interests.
The president also defended his approach to immigration, calling open borders policies, quote, cruel and evil.
A mom and a top CDC official were among the people on Capitol Hill today testifying about the growing number of vaping-related illnesses throughout this country. National health experts link at least 530 cases of lung injury to e-cigarettes. At least 8 people have died. Most of the injury cases did involve THC. That's the psychoactive ingredient found in marijuana. Ruby Johnson's 18-year-old daughter, Piper, nearly died after coming down with a lung disease.
I'll never forget watching her cry that she literally couldn't breathe without excruciating pain.
The epidemic is moving faster than our data gathering, and we're really losing people in the meantime.
Vaping supporters also testified. That includes Vicki Porter of Wisconsin, also known as a longtime radio talk show host Vicki McKenna, who says flavored e-cigs help adults quit.
We want something that tastes good, that makes us want to keep vaping. Flavors keep us vaping. Flavors keep us not smoking.
The CDC says 2/3 of vaping-related lung patients are between 18 and 34 years old. Switching gears now, let's take a look at that first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, things are pretty quiet around here right now, but that will change. We're watching some thunderstorms that are developing very rapidly over western Iowa, and we're going to see more development back toward the northeast into parts of west central Wisconsin. If we look at Doppler track right now, things are pretty quiet around here. It looks like a little shower or thunderstorm trying to get organized in eastern Iowa, but there's that line of storms in western Iowa, and this area will probably fill in as well. Tornado watch has been issued until midnight for parts of west central Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, and western Iowa. But notice the severe weather threat, according to the Storm Prediction Center, drops off pretty rapidly as you head off toward the east. A slight risk north and west of the Dells and a marginal risk to Madison. By the time those storms reach us, it'll probably be around midnight or after, and that will probably limit the severity of the storms. Also, the storms will be fast moving, so that should limit the rainfall amounts, probably around 1/4 to 1/2 inch through much of southern Wisconsin. The heavier amounts of 1 inch or so will probably occur where those storms first develop, and then once they start moving, that will limit the rainfall amounts. But still, we're keeping a very close eye on what's going to happen from Friday, from Thursday night into Friday, and then especially the first half of next week. The GFS Future Track model, this is through early Saturday morning, showing around 1 inch of rain. So much of that will occur late Thursday night into Friday. But then after a little bit of a break for the weekend, you can see how shower and thunderstorm chances really start to increase next week. The very latest computer models start to show several inches of rain as we head toward the end of the week, with most of the rain probably over with by late Thursday afternoon as cooler fall-like air moves in. The European computer model, maybe 1/2 inch through Friday, but again, those amounts really start to ramp up as you head into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week, and Wednesday, especially Tuesday into Wednesday, we could start to see some heavier amounts of rain with several inches of possibility, and locally heavier amounts in heavier thunderstorms. So again, we got to keep a very close eye on the situation there. Live here from the WISC Skycam, mainly clear skies around here. Edgewater Skycam looking back toward the west shows hazy sunshine, and it was a warm day today. Average high temperature should be in the upper 60s, 68 the average high, but we made it to 81 today. The low 53, that was also above average, and right now we're sitting at 80 degrees. Skies are sunny. The humidity still hasn't increased here. We're still at a dew point of 52 with a south-southwesterly wind at 13 miles per hour. The dry air allowed temperatures to drop into the 40s overnight in northern Wisconsin and lower 50s here, but you can see how those temperatures have warmed up into the 70s in northern Wisconsin, lower 80s in southern Wisconsin, and low to mid 80s out to the west of us. But more importantly, the dew point temperatures that are still in the 50s here are already in the upper 60s by La Crosse. So again, these thunderstorms will form where the air is more humid. As they move eastward, especially if they move more quickly, they'll move into drier air a little more quickly, and that should limit their punch, especially as they move in later on tonight. So again, hopefully that'll limit the severe weather potential or the heavy rain potential. Tonight, breezy and milder, turning cloudy, some showers and thunderstorms right around midnight or so. Low temperature around 63. The rain will be over with by morning, and that will set up a partly sunny, breezy, and a little cooler day tomorrow with a high temperature of 72, which is still above normal. On future track, you can see how the clouds move in. Here come the storms, and you can see how quickly they move through. So by tomorrow morning, we're already starting to clear out. We'll see sunshine during the day tomorrow with highs in the lower 70s. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, low temperatures dropping to around 50. And then on Thursday, high temperatures mid to upper 60s with plenty of sunshine. Rainfall amounts heaviest to the north and west. The storms, as they head to the south and east, will probably be weakening and should limit the rainfall amounts. 7 to 10 day forecast. Shower and thunderstorm chances Thursday night into Friday, dry Saturday, and then from Sunday through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, some thunderstorm chances that could bring heavier rain and then cooler weather toward the end of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, here's the view from the DOT camera at the Beltline and Park Street. There was an accident there earlier. I'm not sure if it's been cleared up, but right now we're seeing delays on the westbound Beltline from Park Street all the way back to Monona Road. Eastbound, we're seeing delays from Monona Road all the way back to Verona Road. Right now, a 28-minute commute, almost a half hour in either direction on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate. If you're heading out of Madison, it's 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 26 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, your doctor may not be the only one looking at your private medical information. Why hackers are going after healthcare companies. That's after a short break.
News
Welcome back. Patients hand over some of their most sensitive personal information when they visit the doctor.
That is exactly why hackers are targeting medical facilities. Chris Martinez explains.
In June, the lab testing company Quest Diagnostics revealed hackers got access to the personal information of some 12 million patients. Days later, another testing company, LabCorp, announced nearly 8 million of its customers' records were exposed. The Department of Health and Human Services tracks health data breaches, and almost weekly, multiple hacks are reported, targeting everything from hospitals to insurance providers to device manufacturers.
Unfortunately, it's a huge problem. The theft of medical data is just growing.
Eva Velasquez from the Identity Theft Resource Center says the number of medical records stolen has tripled in the past year.
What that means is the thieves are getting better at collecting more sensitive data per incident, per attack.
A new study in the Annals of Internal Medicine found more than 1,300 medical-related outlets were breached in the past 10 years, compromising 169 million patient records. Researchers at Michigan State University say most of the time, criminals are getting access to sensitive information.
Their driver's license number, social security number, address, names, email address, phone numbers.
Velasquez says that info is a goldmine for crooks because it can be used to open up credit cards and other accounts in your name. She says think twice before sharing your personal information.
When they're asking for your social security number, your driver's license number, and sensitive data, ask them why do they need it. Leave it blank. Say you refuse to provide it.
Unfortunately, that's not always an option because some facilities require it, forcing patients to make a difficult choice. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And stay with us. We'll have another final check of your forecast in just a moment. This is Danica's last show anchoring before she goes off and gets married on Friday. We hope the weather cooperates for her Friday.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Good luck on a wedding day.
We're watching some thunderstorms out to the west of us. There's a tornado watch for parts of western Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa until midnight. But the severe weather threat should lessen as the storms push eastward, and that's because while temperatures are around 80 here, the dew point temperatures are a lot lower, so the air should dry out.
Danica, have a wonderful wedding.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you at 6.